The other thing you do with the brown, this kind of light brown on white slide, is you could make the background black, or put a black frame around it, so it pops a little better. It's so light that the contrast on a black background would be better. It's still not a great logo as far as the color goes. Now, I don't think, the person probably wouldn't want to change their logo. It's probably already been copyrighted or
What
put out.
is it?
I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. I think it's something he made or designed, and I don't know. But the trick things one, you could easily, or thin things one, you could definitely play with that one. It's blue and gray. That on a black background with some white frame around it would pop pretty well. Or even a yellow. If you did yellow background on that, kind of obnoxious, but it would make it pop better. But in either case, if you do 2 slides, make those logos as big as you can, fill up the slide, and talk about it for 20 seconds. That's all you need to do. 20 seconds, 10 seconds even. Tell me what the 2 companies are, how they're related, and why you have 2 logos up there instead of 1.
Well, I like how you did one other slide where you had, instead of one on top of the other, you could size it such that it was side by side, and then the next slide would be the one by itself. And the two on the
Yeah,
side.
that was the graphs, the 2 graphs, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could do that with
A
this.
little harder, but yeah, the one on the top is so dominant versus the little one on the bottom, exactly.
So you don't, so to me, Trick Things looks like it's a description of the top one.
Right.
And
It-
so if you put them side by side, then they're on equal footing kind of thing.
Yeah, and or a similar background. Maybe the trick thing is smaller, but you put a big black background that's as big as the box on the brown one, so it's sort of equal.
Mhm.
Again, it's a function of the person knows his stuff so well. He's been seeing this logo for 3 years because he designed it, or whatever he designed it. It's just no big deal. It's like Apple. If you question Apple's logo, it's like, no, it's just Apple. But, you know, there's no reason to change Apple in their case, for example. Everyone knows it by now, but this one is harder to figure out what it means. And like you kind of alluded to, Yuriko, if you explain the story behind this weird looking logo, it might make some sense. Maybe it's, I don't know, it looks like sand to me. Maybe there's a story behind sand with it. Maybe it's a piece of limestone or something, you know, but there could be a great story behind it, like your ketchup story. There may be a great story. This was something I made for a client, and he let me use it as a logo. Now it's on his building, which is in Arizona, and everything there is brown. Who knows? I don't even know the story.
Mhm.
The thin things or trick things, thin things, the reason it's blue is, you know, there could be a story behind it. It's about water and viscosity. I mean, who knows? Who knows? How about number 15, the slide on 15? Which is hard to read, but it's fine for our example, isn't it? You don't even need to know the content.
We didn't think the photo was important, so we could take it out.
Take the photo out completely.
Yeah.
Or explain it, at least. He never even alluded to it. He just said, oh, this thing we did, blah, 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 blah. He didn't say, and this is me. It looks like I'm stuffing envelopes, but this is me actually presenting, getting ready to give someone the $200 award. You know, that little envelope would have made a lot more sense then.
Mhm.
Could have been some meaningful story. Or this, I was giving away this was me stuffing envelopes because they were invitations to our awards banquet the next night. Like, oh, okay, I kind of see it. It's not a great picture, but I kind of understand it now.
Mhm.
And for those of you in the back of the room, I apologize. I should have changed this slide, but I realize now it's not very hard to read. But this is me, and that blue thing in my hand is an envelope. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
You know, worst case, on the fly, you could explain it, but best case is either you get a new picture, or you take that same picture and you blow it up 5 times and you show it by itself, and that's just your only thing on the slide.
Yeah. One of the second group of text, here's a list of people that I've personally worked with over the years. And it's like, there's not really a list, I guess, unless you click on the hyperlink. And you can't read the hyperlink because it's
Right.
embedded in the text.
Right, exactly. So again, to him it's meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
but he needs to get some of the text that it links to and cut that and paste that in and manipulate it and say the 3 or 4 bullets from that,
Well,
maybe.
and then you wouldn't say, here is a list of people, you would say, people I've personally worked with,
Yeah,
and a list.
Joe Smith, and he said this, and
Mhm.
Tom Jones, and he said this. Very, very brief. I have a picture of Tom. Picture of them shaking hands, or maybe he was at that conference and they give him an award, or picture him with his brown product that he has his logo on now, you know. There's a story behind all those bullets probably, but, and again, to him, they're really meaningful, and,
What, this is a question that I have. So I see here, it looks like he's put a hyperlink in this PowerPoint. Um, but for people who have printed copies or are looking on the slide and want to make notes, that's useless.
right.
So I would assume that it's always okay to put the URL into the slide if it's pertinent.
And make it a link too, so if they happen to do get it electronic, they can just click on it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they do a PDF of it. Most PDFs, if you do them right, will maintain that link for you as well.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but most of them. So yeah, you can be redundant. I do it all the time. I say Google, parentheses, google.com, and that's the actual link that you click on. If you click on the word Google, it'll work. Or if you type in google.com, that'll work as well. So whatever URL you have,
Mm-hmm.
you could do that. Especially, again, if you're presenting to an audience, in one case, and using those same slides as a handout.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would argue have 2 separate slides done with more detail on the ones you hand out. But you can make it work, too, on the text. Especially for a short URL, someone can memorize or write down if they're in the audience, it could work to show the URL. If it's really long, then there's not much point.
Yeah.
How about page 16? Those are kind of given away, aren't they? Eureka already commented on the use of shadow. It's a nice little embellishment, especially when you're on your computer and, you know, playing around. But especially if you're going to go ahead and use the entire screen, then the shadow just goes away anyways. It'll just drop off the screen basically. And let's just jump to the last one here, page 17. Any other comments besides what I talked about? Okay. So note to self, don't show solutions first. All right, I just cut and pasted a couple on page 18 and 19, and I've put on the shared folder here the actual slides from both of your presentations. So why don't you go ahead and open up the shared folder and open up the PowerPoint slide you're not familiar with. And we have half an hour left, so I'd say Eureka and Beth, we each take, it's hard to do this, but let's just say 10 minutes each, and pick maybe 2, maybe 3 slides. The ones I printed out there
Mm-hmm.
might be good ones to try.
We're doing our own?
No, do the persons you don't know. Do Eureka's, Beth. And Eureka, you do Beth's. So one called LJK 2010, that's yours, Beth?
No, that's Eureka.
No, that's for you to do, I mean.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying do the one you're not familiar with.
Okay.
So you have nothing, you're not married to it at all,
Okay.
except the fact that she's sitting next to you.
Yeah.
And same with you, Eureka, go ahead and take the asbestos presentation one.
Yeah.
And redundantly, you can look at the printout too, but it's not as good as seeing the actual slide.
Well, that's odd.
Is it working?
Yeah, well, I was trying to just duplicate the slide so that I could work on the duplicate, but it gave me this. Well,
Oh, yours is different, you're on Mac,
first
of all, aren't you?
slide, and then it gives me this. But, oh well.
Oh, no, scroll up further.
Oh, scroll.
Oh, you have 2 of them now.
Oh.
You do have 2 of them.
Yeah, if,
Oh, I see.
Oh, you were gonna go ahead and edit one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a good technique. So you can pick whatever you want, but just these 2 are some I have some comments about, so you might try those 2. That was the first slide, and maybe not that one, but there should be one somewhere like it. Whatever you want, but yeah, there it is, I think. Maybe. So you can probably see some issues right away. And again, feel free to go back to your notes on the 5 guidelines if that helps you. I'll make a few notes too.